Hi everybody, this is Fiel of mintjulepreviews, and this is gonna be my first video review, and it's gonna be on a Korean movie that I watched recently, so I'm really excited, yay! I'm gonna be doing this review on this movie called Introduction to Architecture. That's the poster right there. Hopefully it's focusing. Right, there we go. Oh, focus on me again. I'm gonna put that over there so it doesn't distract me because I just wanted to show the poster. This movie, like I said, it's called Introduction to Architecture. Online, you can also find it under the title Architecture 101. It's a movie from South Korea. It's a melodrama, a little bit of romance. It's also slice of life. It's released in 2012. Oh, just in case you guys are worrying why I'm looking down, it's because I have my notes right here. So it's starring these lovely actors that I actually love to see on movies. Let's count how many times I'm gonna say love in this video. You guys can put that down in the comments. It stars Tae-won, who plays the present day 2012 Sungmin, Ha Ga-eun, who plays the present day Soyeon, and there's Bae Suzy, who you guys might have seen in Dream High. She's a singer slash actress. She's in this group called Miss A. She plays the younger version of Soyeon. And then Lee Jae-hoon, he's like an upcoming actor. He plays the younger version of Sungmin. So a little bit about the plot about this movie. In 2012 or the present day, Soyeon, who's like dressed in this classy, very rich woman, rich lady persona, walks into this modernistic industrial architecture firm and looks for an architect named Sungmin. So she tells her, "Hey, don't you remember me?" And Sungmin at first kind of says, "Who are you? I don't remember who you are." And it kind of then flashes back to the college years where younger Sungmin meets Soyeon for the first time. It's in their Architecture 101 class, and Suzy, who plays the younger Soyeon, is a music major, and she majors in piano, I believe, from what I remember in the movie. And she goes into this Architecture 101 class. It kind of tells you a little bit towards the middle of the movie why she's in that class, but Sungmin actually is supposed to be in that class because he is a freshman who's majoring in architecture. So that's how they first meet in their younger years, and it kind of goes on a little bit on how their relationship started, how they became friends, and how there's a little bit of, youthful romance there. And then it flashes back into the present day where Soyeon asks Sungmin, "I want you to build me my house. And I can pay you any amount you want, I'm super rich, I can, And at first Sungmin goes, "I can't build you a house because I build industrial buildings, like office buildings." But there's something about it that he kind of gets convinced and decides, I'm going to build you a house. So it goes through all this montage and sequences of Sungmin, showing her these beautiful model houses, and it's just gorgeous, all modernistic, and she just goes, I don't really like this, like, I want something that's more familiar. So she then tells him sorry, about her childhood home in Jeju-do, which is this beautiful picturesque house, picturesque island offshore in Korea. So this kind of starts how Sungmin decides to rebuild her childhood home, half her childhood home, into somewhat modernistic reiteration of it. Then it flashes back into the past of how their younger versions of themselves starts to have feelings for each other and develop this deeper relationship. It doesn't actually fill us in on the missing years, on why Soyeon and Sungmin never got together when they were younger, but it kind of there's like a little bit of subtle hints about what happened to their relationship and what happened in between that time, but we just kind of get put into the present day without really that much of explanation. Also, I really like the part towards the end in the plot that they show us, you know, what happens between Soyeon and Sungmin. Do they rekindle that first love, youthful love idea, or they go through, like, you know, what they've already established in their life, their regular life. So I like that part in the plot. What else did I put on my notes for this review? It's a very melodramatic movie. You know, the palette is the cinematography is just gorgeous. Like, you see, like, the beautiful beaches in Jeju-do, and even the architectural firm is, like, gorgeous, and how it's shot, like, with all the blues and the grays, and you transition to their youthful selves, their youth selves, and it's, like, kind of a brighter 80s, 90s feel of Korea, that it's, like, retro, and then you turn over to the present time again, and it's kind of muted pastel colors and a little bit of that melodramatic feel. That's really beautiful. Kind of gives off that indie movie feel, even though the story is very commercialized and very cliche. The younger selves, I really appreciate how they picked out the actors, because Lee Jae-hoon actually looks strikingly similar to Tae-won. Like, he could really be a younger version of Tae-won, and the mannerisms and the physicality really transition well from the younger Sungmin, played by Lee Jae-hoon, of how he's, like, really gangly and dorky, and, you know, he doesn't really come across as, like, you know, a ladies' man. And it transitions over to Tae-won's, you know, portrayal of Sungmin, that he's still kind of this gangly, dorky guy, but a little bit more confident, just because he's been this top architect for a few years. So you can tell that these two characters really are the same characters merged together in just different timelines. Also, you know, just with, like, the face and appearance of Lee Ji-hoon, like, they could play, like, an older and younger brother in a Korean drama, and it would be really believable. Bae Suzy and Hagain, it wasn't that believable. I was just kind of, like, put off it, like, in the middle of the movie, just because her facial structures are different. There's a bit of a difference there. Like, Suzy's face is more slim and, like, kind of V-shaped, and then Hagain is more of a rounded face, and her eyes are more of an almond shape, and you're just kind of like, whoa, like, you know, she couldn't have grown up into this mature woman looking, you know, with more chubby cheeks. And but you kind of, you know, you kind of get into the movie that it doesn't really, you know, for me it didn't really bother me that much, but it was something that I thought of, like, in the beginning of the movie when they were transitioning between the two timelines. It's a very poignant story of first loves, and how, you know, does first loves really mean that, you know, when you suddenly meet your first love again a couple years after, does it mean that that feeling comes back? So there's a lot of that question in the movie. Also, one more highlight that I really liked from this movie. A couple months back, I saw this, I was watching this Korean drama called King Two Hearts. It stars Lee Seung-gi and Ha Ji-won. There's an actor there who plays the stick-in-the-mud bodyguard. His name is Jo Jung-suk. And in this movie, he plays this really funny character called Nabduk, who is the best friend of the younger Sungmin. And he's like, he is pretty much like, not a dropout, but he didn't get into university and got held back in high school. So Lee Ji-hoon's character, the younger Sungmin, goes to university, but he still stays in their hometown. And they have this really cute bromance thing going on. He gives, like, you know, him, you know, romance advice, girl advice, and he's kind of bad at it. But you're just like, it's a cute comedic part of the melodrama. What else did I like about this movie? Oh, and then, you know, Lee Ji-suk is, like, a really good actor. He just does a 180 in all of the characters he portrays. So it's pretty believable that he can transition from, you know, a stick-in-the-mud bodyguard character who, you know, doesn't smile, into this, like, really funny, flamboyant, kind of full of spirit character. That's funny. There's a lot of good imagery and, like, metaphors in this movie, like, about, like, you know, the first model home that Sungmin builds in college into this modern, you know, reiteration of how he rebuilds and renovates Soyeon's home. So overall, I gave this movie, like, out of 5, I did give it a 4.5, just because it's really enjoyable. It's definitely a chick flick, definitely a melodrama, maybe not something you'd want to watch with your significant other, just because they might not appreciate this kind of lovesick type of story. But, you know, all you girls out there, you know, who want to try out watching a Korean movie, it's a really good watch. And it's something that you can find here on YouTube to watch as well with English subtitles. So I definitely recommend that. I might put down some links down in the description box of more information, like the Wikipedia page, so you can find out more about the actors and the plot. So that's pretty much it for my first review. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you guys, if you like this video, subscribe, I think above, somewhere here. And look for me on other places on the internet. Links are down below so you can see that. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!